Sorry. Then in the middle of this, suddenly the clearing for this problem and the clear fact about this all that came on happening. And what came on happening were not nice. It's a second video I'm doing because of storage, and I am with a limitation for the perra sucias this are making permanently. Sorry. So at the reality, that weather were for about 4 years. I were on the streets, 1, 2, 3 days even, no sleeping much of times, and walking the whole permanently destroyed with no drinking, no eating, and supposedly have been chunky tour. Others saying prostitution gay tour, and others saying, oh, schizoid dangerous for himself and others, and we're really in danger all the time. Well, you didn't know a thing, and you just make a deal for the coverage this, and trying to disguise this that you were aware. Alviar Pinero, Cuerpo Médico Forense, Justicia Nacional, to cover brothel, pranks, carnivals, and maricas evangélicas, business of putazos de Sodoma, sorry the word, forgive me. That you are and with perros hijos de perra. For there to no wrong to happen. Oh my God, you cannot say also that to the people because of people will scare. Mierda degenerada van a morir, hijos de perra y en el infierno. So what the reality of this started to persecuting me and studying, oh, I wanted power, what is that all about? And started making more damages and destruction, saying week out at a time. And I almost got dead then, and turned to saying, oh, he had died, for there did not happen destructions on the world. Maricas evangélicas, pranks, carnival, cabrera, crudo, anacondia, and others. And in the middle of this all, I have crossed by the Reconquista River in the Buenos Aires suburban in a Saturday night in the middle of the winter at 1 a.m. dressed at swimming because of that. And when I ever saw the trees, and I saw the trees after I made a question to the Lord, suddenly came a wind and the trees fall, made them, and I knew that what I is. From up on the stage of the brother of Guillermo Brain, while I going through that, saying, be brave, don't you get back, just go through and keep on naked, and don't you go to the places that you can hurt your brothers, which were the place they were living in, my address. So the manipulation of these witches and the generates seeking for that, you're gonna give us the money that you didn't kill me for the Lord, we're leaving you and you got to attach that Lord told you, of course. But supposedly a liar for the business of the reventadas de sol. At the middle of the clear fact, in plena forgive me. And in the middle of the soul started manipulating me, and I fell in a very fraud of a couple of bastardos hijos de perra, using names of my people, saying Estudio Jurídico Jofre, for the making Revertlaje Fiscal Jalí like Nelly del Bari Vázquez, that I denounced, and like always, Colegio Público de Abogados, bosta reventada de mierda, making staging and business. Oh, you are so fogoso. Fired. But the reality is that we didn't find the cuteness about this situation, about the doctors, lawyers. We still found the right proof that they will have done something wrong to you. And after them, because of a business, we're seeking the damn whore, making fraud and robbing to the people and destroying my life even, and making trade up on me, because of she were a fraud or something. And Colegio Público de Abogados es una mierda de mierda morirá. La Barra de Buenos Aires. Then in the middle of this all, one falls in a condition that supposedly one will receive money from trials, but all he wants is the money. Why don't you have the black he go to work? Lord says, who's gonna speak to you? The dachshund? The salchicha? What do you have for an authority? Un diablo. So So in the middle of having the clear fact that in that template, oh, but you need a big chart because of this is happening and now is happening. But sent to the bodies of Sodoma, oh, you are with problems. That did you ever consult to any class of I don't know, psychiatrist? So in the middle of this all, what I said were happening and were doing to me, persecuting me for robbing me and making disasters, and were destroying me, which still you see them, maricas de Sodoma, permanently, and never stopped with praying. Which are that? Every one of them and carnivals. So in the middle of this all, I'm found, the General of Fuerzas Armadas Argentinas, trying to stealing me permanently, and watching me because of they needed a business and saying we are going to do greatest things with this. But not like I will be placed and helping them. But they, like perras degeneradas, perras diablas, brujas reventadas de Sodoma y Gomorra, telling that they will ever have benefit. So in the middle of this reality I just went through. And you need a big chart, and that's the way you'll be contained. And I just came into the place because of I were working in another brothel in the Channel Age with justamente Macri, Víbora hijo de perra, which destroyed my life for about 2 months working like a slave and giving me a minimum salary and pretending I to be kind of a very mule for each chargement over a work for 2 persons sin correo argentino, and also pretending I to give them explanation why were I living. So in the middle of this all, just the reality of I remained that were this brothel, and I thought, oh, maybe there will be good. And I thought I would found friends, but were kind of a shit. And it's exactly what they are, with a partner of you. That I cannot say that. So what the reality of Catedral Federal, Catedral de la Fe, I just went because of a wrong advice, thinking something good will ever be. But the reality is supposedly being a promise, but the promise were not that we had to be there, but they will ever have the visitation, and were not 2 angels, but Elia and Moshe. And they saw Moshe and delivered Moshe to being damaged and destroyed, with Barra praying, Bas Sodoma, Argentina, Policía Federal Argentina, which started to saying damages and making up more shit to saying we are going to take them back and we are going to end what we began. Y el acto de Selva. So in the middle of this reality, without it, I don't know, I just went there. And I were at the hands of an opportunistic perro sucio reventado, which already knew about me, Fabián González, Lagón Satanales, which perro degenerado de Sodoma y prostituto de la tal. Just for the peculiar way of that brothel, to never respect it and saw me and and in the middle of the reality, I just went through, thinking I will ever have something. And Adonai, with Miguel, almost put them all dead. I don't know why didn't I let him do, except for victims, and I were not conscious, still bad. So in the middle of this reality, and I just crossed by with this bastardo hijo de perra, and I started to walk and thinking what I'm doing, and then I started working with me. And denigrating me and destroying me, and oh, but I cannot condemn a person for what I have done in the past. But don't you worry, we only got to take everything like it's given to it, and we give in for whatever that happened. Don't you worry, everything's going to be okay. We just take the houses and everything that wants to give it to him, you give it. So, and Adonai says to me, go away, move. And we're not a man, we're Hashem, move. And inside the 10th brothel, I moved with a person that I thought will ever be respectable, but ended at the same class, I think. So I moved over a cold community inside of that brothel, pretender of charge, with a partner of victims. And I found that reality And expecting they to understand Adonai were talking, they said that I had to be under authority. And put me with a person that I cannot, at this moment, say, I don't want to say, not for respect, but for other class of things, and not for fear. I'm going to put a little space for judgment, because of it's going to happen at this stage, something which I need, that'll be as well, because of El Chai, the real God, is going to end when already he is done. So in the middle of this all happened the clear fact over I will be in Plepechalechish expecting they to understand. I didn't have to be, but around the place until El Chai to determine what they're doing with me and how to I will become. And if anything I will do, not at the way of them used to. So making sales teams, vision of the 12s. I will become one of the, I cannot complete, and you are not making what I need, and you are not, but you cannot put faith, and you cannot fight it. It's hard and costs us too much, because of there is not a fellow. That is the reason why it's hard for you. God is not with you, you are witches. And you make profanation, and you make paganism, and you profane things like Adonai never said to be. You don't have to make in 12 disciples each, and making 12 under the each of them, and producing 12 pyramid for the making a supposed disciple or discipline institution of degenerados for making sales teams over families and over whatever friends and over moving. Adonai said, you are not going to do whatever you think, and you're not going to do a very anathemic of my name. And neither are the wrong expressed and translated. So the reality of the soul, the meaning of Lord Jesus, and the delivering me, Lagos Satanales, under the spell of it and strength for I to look like a big word for perros amigos Sodoma Federal and making business upon me already known by him that I would go through, destroying me with antellation, which is the wrong word, but I'm going to say this word. At the reality for this soul, like a damn big word, like a damn hell shetimana, tu, demonia alienada. Started to making up an class of a shit and producing an class of a klachivish kanchanim, and Tikash Vachladi too were fearing for what they heard, and they knew this were wanting and doing about my person. And the snakes didn't say a word because of, I won't touch the authority of the Lord. If there is one that says to the authority of the Lord and moves like a demon, ain't nothing of Adonai. And the ones that covers are accomplices. So at the reality of this, and a bastardo degeneradito, Alta Miranda, telling me, Elias puto. So at the reality in oh, he's a schizophrenic. Don't you see? We see it, and suddenly we are all together, and he starts, Lord, 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 Lord. And we're witches, and this degenerates, making the malambito rabioso sodomita about my life and destroying everybody, and I'm asking Adonai, please help me, nobody to be damaged. Nobody to get damaged, and nobody to have the consequence for what this are doing to me and is happening to me. What is wrong here? And I praying daily, non-stopping, praying, until trying to heal and carrying over. And they and praise, perros degenerados, with la barra Quiros crossed me by, up on a bus, and guessed, it's a carnival, and started making the defamation and the destruction wherever I went, like every perra reventada de cuarta, prostituto de Sodoma. Fabián Quiros, Prefectura Naval Argentina, del prostíbulo de carnival. And oh, but he, and let's testing because of he wanted, oh my God, and una barra de Sodoma making business upon me over the spell of the barrazos degenerados and the destruction of your bodies, barra con satanales, just like here. So in the middle of this all, This will be disformation and damages. Can be arranged in the justice of the trouser of your sodomaki bodies, your business. So at Rebbe Flech Machalik Ishkabat, Matzechel Vochlach, Yashvara Tima Flech Techniam Flabasiva. Gebot Lechem Obleche Viskidiach Lachish Vodach Lakem Arachlach Visach Leboan Pasachlish Kemavima. At Loba, Gatna. At Levesech Lachish Koblevech Laki Retish and Matma Sachili. And the reality of this, I have been doing certain projects also then, that I have made in a folder and I write in a BC printed sheets, pages, and made in a very sketches and certain things like I were interested in giving to Osvaldo Carnival. And Pedro Gonzalez telling, no, give me, and give him. And said, oh, we have been thinking about this with brain, and he's coming to us with mind control. And through this, besides this, just whenever I just pass by, I started to watch what the perro sucio were doing to people and abducting, manipulating, and destroying, and hiding the whole ass business he is still doing in that brothel. Delivering people to destroying being, rape, murder, prostitution, and ripping out the money that they cut and robberies with maricas. Policía Federal Argentina 12, 52, 40, 38, 51, 42, and others, like 22, Puerto Madero, this one. So what the reality of this in Blechavasech Ishpat Alachtiki Mirachlich Shavafoach Alachal Matlachi Vishkop Levachlachini Refot Lachavesech Likishkop Achlacham Catedral Federal is just a place, a point in Buenos Aires, and seems like nothing wrong to say, and he delights and estimates me, and is a mystique, and also thinks that God will ever be and never done, and he thinks God is going to speak to him. Well, he had to attach to the authorities of the church. And suddenly the reality weren't after a long time, turned to playing all because of his service to the Lord and for the love of the soul. Whenever he then brought no much because of the damages of Marica, Policía Federal Argentina, Fuerzas Armadas, and them telling, oh, we're going to watch it because of the whole of accused for, we're going to watch it, but don't you worry. But he's going to learn about us. And suddenly, and all through this, all problems and the situations, turned to saying that I were under research for the whole accusations of Policía Federal Argentina, Prince and Peronism against my person, saying that I were the whole Marica Renta de this, where the Larry had to be until today. Because of this as they do to me. The business of them. So all through this, and Blechavesish Vodachlachim were all accomplices permanently, especially Carnival, conscience. And started receiving bigger damages and destructions, and never wanted to be off. And always made them the same. 7 times condemned, 8 times raised, and a 9th over. Condemned at last to the hell. Through this, maiden damages, I have been trampled, I have been denigrated, I have been abused. They stole into me and saying, because of I were not making what the Lord said I'd have to do. I used to come to singing into that place, I used to come to making certain things that I regret I had been right in. I used to ask him permission to do something to pray to, supposedly adore. I used to ask him for permission and suddenly pretended to putting me inside a choir of that brothel and turned to saying, Esto es santo. And I supposedly being delusional and delirium and schizoid. And also the reality of holy saint, Baron of Eladon, perfect. And the rest, Adonai said that for a moment. Esto es santo. And, oh, go, you got to come to clean yourself into the right service because the Lord has something for you. What is He gonna give you? What are you asking to Him? A miracle. I want a house for me, one for my mother, and I want to make a business. Oh, go to clean yourself because of you have to. Why don't you give to someone that needs it most? This one is going through a transition, and Lord says to us that got to learn a little bit and grow up. And also, yeah, this one that I am not going to say no further, just in a moment, with a person that I used to come to services because of very kind of an activity of that brother, a very lunch place for kids in Lomas del Mirador, Buenos Aires, that I supposedly have been going through because of I would be pedophilic. And in the middle of this all, this woman, which used to be called Reina, were about to giving me and gave me the possibility to working while I still had that driving license, professional, Buenos Aires, to working with a pickup, a light truck, to delivering bread from the manufacturer. And were a very good salary, and she offered me, and I said, oh yes, of course, I like the idea. Adonai trying to bless me. And perro degenerado, no, give it to someone. He don't go because of he got to learn about this and cannot take the easy ways and easy things. He don't go to seek him by the faith. And on the other side, where he, la perra don Satanás, la perra federal, la perra brain, oh, but he has problem and he's a terrorist and he is simply getting in the gates of Amia. Don't you tell because of also he wrote to us. Which never happened. No one not another making opportunism. And in the middle of this all, making the full damages and producing the whole of the destructions, producing the whole of the damages impermanently and never stopping. Until this day, and until at this moment, and still with the same, pouring all over our class of the damages and destructions. I saw the reality and pretended to play the good one. Everybody can have an opportunity. If he is of the Lord, he's going to hold on and he's going to bear it. And everything's going to be okay. Just rise up like a leader. And with the whole of the spell of witches and reventada mierda right upon. Does he bear it? The weight? I got the weight of the world upon my life. And whole Sodom and Gomorrah destroying my life because of you, perra de cuarta. And you have the weight of the hell for you to die with it. And forever shala. So in the middle of this, Adonai comes to me and says to me, let's get out of here. And where Adon, Yeshua, Kadosh, Hazaret. Let's get out of here. So I just moved out. And outside at the same day, just putting a letter to the stupid, or just came like that. The snake, perro degenerado, Fabián González, su perra y sus perros, on diablos reventados, están muertos en el infierno, y yo soy Elías, para siempre será. So in the middle of this reality, we made it and we've taken all off, and we are going to give it in. And now from now on, he's going to be sorry because we are not going to let it and everything that he will receive. And came people from Canada, US, France, Swiss, Spain, Italy, Russia, Ukraine, Romania. Even from Venezuela, Colombia, Brazil, and even people from South Africa, people from Korea, China, India, people from Thailand, from Japan, Australia. Having the notice, but Adonai telling and Adonai saying, for the well that you know and you understand, this one is my Eliah, and my Elia were in this place. And this place is called Catedral de la Fe, Buenos Aires, which is a Christian church, and I don't want my holy in that place. I need you to carefully understanding the risks I'm gonna tell you, to move forwarding at this moment which in time we are, and trying to reach him out because of I need him out of that land. The name is Alejandro Mario Blanco, and the ID, Kevin, my Argentinian ID, DNI. And he responds to this, and his address is, and they know, but for the security I shall tell you, face those and tell them, and let them know that I am sending to you. And came people without it, I don't know, and I don't be conscious, until long time after, asking for me in front at the doors of the face of that son of a snake, reventada mierda, for about 21 times 848,204 persons with the diplomat's contact in Buenos Aires and from the origin governments from. Sorry, they're redundant. So in the middle of this all, trying to reaching me out and helping me, and turned to threatening, saying, you better don't you be nearing. If you want to bless somebody, you bless the church. Lord is going to bless you, because if you don't know what will that begin. Anything you need to giving, I will advise you, give to the church, you're going to be blessed. You don't know what that is doing. We know about. And all plans of defamation and destructions and damages, and that people is at the hands of Belladonna, except for 21,008, which are working with Iran, and I want that to be kept ever. So what the reality of this happened, so permanent damages about this class of a lacra, reventada, nauseabunda, pisoteada mierda del chivo del infierno, that you have no idea, and today there's the same, because of I don't work, robbing my chaps and supporting Sodom and Gomorrah, saying poor I, threatening while are accomplices and conscious and intentional, and sending at the doors of Rabbi and my people Jewish in the whole Nasur and much other places, coming with, if they don't regret, Lord told me, give them in and take whatever, the ones that you give in, to kill you from the whole of that they got. And in the middle of this reality, kept on purring, and sorry for this, purring, which is not English, mandru amati purring, manskua, all over the world, and spreading shit about my name and my person, and advertising that I will be like a very woman in a very prostitution Dishmonam 7, with the flag of Israel in one hand and the flag of US in the other, open of legs and the whole of the phallus right up, and saying, I will be the grand whore. In the wide places of Unión de las Asambleas de Dios del Mundo, World God's Union Assemblies, and still is around there, and the same image this, and there's to saying, with my face and my person, this will be. So in the middle of this solemn, Christina Gishner, making opportunism and sending to murder because of she's offense says, my people, and she forcing terms and situations for she to make this trade of perra genocida, perra criminal psicopata, with them officialism. And perros degenerados evangélicos saying, oh, we're going to sue for everything he says, it is amazing to damage the institutions and the public faith person, and that is not our, and that is not right. We are the evangelic government for Argentina and Azur. And making up in the class of shit with the Sodomatroser for taking the patrimony and giving to up and kill for you to be Please stop. We're touching the anointed. ¿Anointed what? La bragueta ungida. Que tampoco tocamos, excepto venir a violar porque sos una bruja de cuarta, diablo trolo, evangelista. With the pardon of victims. Forgive me the words. ¿Tenés a alguien más que amenazar y matar? Para que diga esos términos lo sos. Y toda esta definición, locura, veamos. Rechel plechem a plechem eseshka, bel plechem a chalaki viechetishka, rechel pleva chalakini revesesh boamatzi. Inekan. Forgive me, please, the terms. I'm sorry. So what the reality of this all, I wonder. Do you really, evangelic, you think you are of God? Do you really think that saying, in the name of Jesus, and some power moves, whenever you also understand, know all those that comes to saying, O Lord, Adon, Adon, shall come inside my kingdom, but those that makes the will of my Father that sent me to you. Because of in those times shall be the ones that says so, but look that I made in the miracles, and the power has moved, and people just bended in front of your name and just saw the glory, and they just came in front of. And I shall look at them and I will say, where is the reality that you kept of my commandment, and where is the will of my Father in everything you've done? I don't need nothing like you come like a career, like you to pretend to be God blach masechishki. In fact, I told you, the reality of you is nothing like I would ever say or having in count. That you destroyed my people and my population, submitted that the and also the ones that are abroad, for the making the will of my Father, you put it like a of my enemy. So what am I gonna say? You were in Blechevish Komplechami, and I were always in Blechevish Klatzchanechan. I never met you in my name or Ruach. I don't know who you are. Step off of me. Evil procedures and makers of hell. The real word. What am I gonna do? Lying, saying, oh, but with those words, let them kill you, so this is all over. For whom? For the world, because of Solomon Gibson happy, we did it! With a Befuda Matlasish Luterikai, Christina Gishner. And it's a pedophilic punch, officialism. And I will offense them. And also for the coming to kill Jewish. And also hunting them like an animal on the Give me, I'm coming. Brujas de cuarta van a morir y yo voy a ser el ejecutor. Refog leggen met leggen we sies, met leggen gaan geen niet leggen gaan kies voor